Well, last year, when I made some Veterans Day comment on here, I lost a good chunk of my connections on the internet. I suppose it was a shock to some that I actually served in the military. I know I'm not the type that would do that, but I made it through. I barely ever talk about it for good reason, but whenever I do, a lot of people get confused and upset in many ways. Well, I mean, at least I got to see what serving was like, rather than watching TV and being openly opinionated with a lack of knowledge. And not everyone in a green suit is an idiot, and this isn't the Vietnam era. And good riddance to bad friends. Now that whole entire passage just now was from a post that I put up today on the old social network. It had to do with an older social networking post from this time last year in regard to Veterans Day. This, like everything else I tend to open up about on camera and on the internet and whatever, is something that it happened in my life, and something in some ways I still have to deal with. Now, I've had people who prosecuted me openly because they found out that I served in the military. They thought I was just some jarhead dumbass, and no matter what I said, they treated me like a mindless murderer, like some drone who can't think for himself. The talks I had with these people ended up being very hurtful, to my surprise. I didn't think there was anything anyone could really say that could really get to me. And it seemed like there was nothing that I could say. There was no sense that I could talk into them about my experience. They didn't care about me as an individual, and I was just another, I guess, insert offensive word here, just another drone, just another idiot to them, as in many situations I find myself in where I'm criticized. But then, I thought about it later, and they never served in the military. They didn't know what my tasks were. They don't know who I am, where I've been, what I've done, my tasks, my missions, my training, my areas of expertise. Why should I let the things they say affect me like that? They don't understand. They're refusing to understand. They didn't know me. Worst of all, they didn't even make an effort to get to know me. They didn't want that. They didn't care. Also, they'll never know what I did. I mean, if they hate it that much, if they hate me that much, maybe they'll never know. They won't know what I did. They don't know what I know. They don't care to listen. They'll just take in all the television, movies, news reports, and books written by people that probably weren't there. Even books written by people that were there. But in the military, everybody's experience is different greatly. But they aren't doing anything. They're saying that we're mindless drones for being in the military. They're mindless drones for taking in all this crap and accepting it as the truth and thinking that they're right. It's no different, just a different side. They're not doing anything. They're just being very openly opinionated about things that they don't understand. They think they do, but they're not even close. You ask most people like that about anything having to do with the military and military life, and they have no idea. They accused me of one thing, and I was like, well, that wasn't even part of my MOS. They don't know what an MOS is. That's very basic. And it's not just the people who dislike the military and the government and all of that, but people who actually like that stuff. They never wore the uniform. It kind of reminds me of Danny McBride's character in the movie Tropic Thunder. Also, some people like that, how we come to idolize people like John Wayne, for example, who played a Green Beret in a movie. There are millions of people around the world that John Wayne doesn't have shit on. You know why? Because those millions of people actually were troops, and John Wayne just acted like one. So what? And no heavy diss on John Wayne. I mean, that stuff may be, entertaining to watch, but it's all an act. Now, I don't mean to sound all uppity and proud about my military service. I'm not doing that. I'm not being uppity, and I'm not being proud of it. I actually hated a lot of it, but I did it. And that part of my life is over. Actually, when I lived in South Korea, I was pretty heavily, prosecuted for being just who I was. My skin was brown, my hair was short, I was a soldier. Those are two things that unfortunately aren't exactly very well accepted over there. At least not at the time, especially under the Bush administration, when the reputation of the U.S. was actually pretty pretty bad. And as somebody who's been traveling all over, over the world his whole life, to be going through something like that, to be in a foreign country where people hate you for being American, people hate you for being a soldier, and people hate you because of the color of your skin, it's sad. It's really sad. It's very disappointing. And to continue to be in that country for a long period of time, to put up with that when you really want to explore and you want to enjoy yourself, and you have to work with other people from other countries, it's very rough. Even the expatriates from the other countries, the United States, Canada, the UK, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, they didn't treat me well either, especially when they found out that I was in the military. Even when I started teaching English myself, I went out of my way to ensure that I had the most fulfilling experience in South Korea as I could. I do that with every country I visit. As I said before, I've traveled, I've visited and lived in a lot of different places. And I absorb every country and every culture that I go to. I dive straight in. I learn the languages, I learn the customs. And I've done this many times, and despite the way people treat me, I do it because I enjoy it. I live for it. I also got in a lot of trouble for those things, for, I guess, like being defiant, which they considered a very American trait. But I kept going on. So Veterans Day in the United States for me is a remembrance of all the crap that I went through, in a way. All of the social crap, as well as all the things that I am neglecting to mention for good reason again. I've earned the right to get a free meal from an Applebee's restaurant. I've earned the right to get 10% off of a purchase at a department store. I earned like everything else I may be eligible for. I'm not going to put that off because people hate me for what I've done. I'm not going to pretend that, that it's not right. I earned it. And a lot of people like to forgo things that are well within their reach. If you earn something, if you have access to something, don't put it aside. Don't neglect those things. Some people don't have those things and would be very lucky to have them. Use what you have and don't stop pretending to be something else. I'm not going to throw any of the stuff for Veterans Day. I'm not going to forgo that because people think I'm shit. I don't mold for anybody anymore. I used to mold so much to keep people from hating me. I wanted friends, but I wanted them to accept me for who I was and not so much for what I was and what I was involved in and what I was doing. And I believe if they can't do both, then I need not have them in my life. My name is Adam. I don't consume alcohol, nicotine, or any recreational drugs. I don't like violence, but I believe in self-defense. I play music. I'm very good, very skilled, and very well versed in music. I play many styles of music, my favorite styles being actually in the punk rock subgenres. I'm well-read, well-traveled, I'm level-headed, and well-mannered. I'm also a vegetarian. I love animals. I don't like gender roles. I don't like ethnic roles either. I'm also not the most masculine person you'll ever meet. And I am straight, just in case you were curious. I didn't feel I really had to state that if anyone wants to get upset about that. Probably not the type of jarhead idiot you expect to sign up for the military. That's where you're wrong. There are all kinds of people who do it, but perhaps you'll never know. So this Veterans Day or weekend, please consider that. Everybody has different experiences, and everyone has different personalities. And think about that before you judge someone. And if you're compelled to do it, thank a veteran. Again, I'm not trying to be proud and I'm not trying to be cocky with any of this. I'm just sharing my experience in the spirit of Veterans Day. Hopefully this means something to somebody other than me. Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys next time.